Hi guys, welcome back to the Friends of
Football
Podcast.
My name is Elijah Uko
Ogutu.
Oti Baba.
and this is episode 10, the last episode of season 1. I'm buzzing, I'm really buzzing, and I'm also really happy that we have managed to reach this far. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, it's exciting. Imran, Oti Baba, what do you think?
Yeah, it's been a long season full of ups and downs, mostly of ups, because this is what we love, man. We love football. Football was back when we were shooting this podcast, so hopefully we have better things. Not hopefully, actually, we have better things in store for the next season, and also the football season is coming, so be on the lookout, guys.
There's a lot in store, a lot, and when I mean a lot, there's a lot in store. So hopefully the plans that we have will actually be actualized in the second season of Friends of Football. There have been a lot of struggles, but we have managed and we have worked with what we have, and hopefully we'll keep on improving the content together with the way we shoot, and everything will just be spot on in a few maybe months or maybe with weeks to come. So guys, keep on subscribe, also like, share our content,
Hit the bell,
do everything, keep on supporting us, and also be sharing the content. And if anyone asks you of local Kenyan football content, you know what to do and where to go. The Friends of Football, because we talk about Kenyan football and also international football. We support our very own, and that's what we do over here at its very best.
And also don't forget to like our social media handles.
Yeah.
On Twitter, Friends of Football, Facebook, Friends of Football, and also on
Instagram DMs.
Yeah, just talking of local football, there's a Thika United jersey making its debut on the show.
Yeah,
Right
guys.
behind them.
We're trying new things.
Thika United, man like Ogutu played for Thika United.
Yeah.
So this is a tribute to Thika United.
And all the guys
Giving
who
him the
also
chance.
tried to get to the KPL and also to other teams, we just thought we should remember you guys. And maybe someone can go from Thika to PSG. You never know.
Yeah. You
Things
never
also,
know, man. I think it was you. You're the one who was supposed to go
Yeah.
from Thika to PSG. You let us down, bro. Story for another day, though. But
But
guys,
usually Friends of Football itakupeleka PSG on another capacity.
I know I'm still young, guys. I'm only 16. Yeah, and I think I've eaten well. I'm very
this
healthy.
African mentality. Hey,
Yeah.
hey. Ogutu ana nashukuwa 40 na you're 21.
Hapana bro. Unajua
Don't
nimesema
pick
my real age I'm 16 so that watu wakiona hizi episodes they can track. Si ati tulisema tu mkituona PSG nini.
16.
Nilisema early guys, you had it here first. Yeah.
All right, guys. However, just before we get down to business, how was your week, Imran? How was your week, man?
My week is okay. Starting with watching football, and the exciting part of the week actually started on Saturday when we went to watch a 5-star tournament between FC Bundes and the other team is Soccer Talent. Yeah, and man, we were tear gas. Na kuna video. This one, if it doesn't feature on the show, blame it on Eli because he's the editor. Kuna video umse akiruka fence when the tear gas was being locked by the police.
Elijah,
but it was a really interesting tournament, and me, I'd urge you guys, man, please support local talent. Go to the football ground, support grassroots football, because that game had a lot of fans and it was actually interesting.
Yeah, actually it wasn't rowdy, it was just nice.
Yeah,
It was chill, calm.
Saturday
apart from the
vibes,
police
nini.
coming.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. Actually, the game didn't conclude, so the game was played during the midweek, and it was on Wednesday, I think. And soccer actually played beautiful football.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes, man. This is European football being played in Kenya. Brilliant passes, good control of the ball, technique-wise, absolute sublime, and I really enjoyed myself. Soccer managed to beat Bundes 2-0. That was Soccer Talent is a team from Kibra, and Bundes is a team from Dago. So it was like a Dago versus Kibera, and Kibra managed to emerge champions in that first leg. There's going to be a second leg. It's the 5-star. It was the 5-star tournament game, which is in memory of Ken Oliech, the brother of Dennis Oliech, the menace, who's being buried today on Saturday. We do pass our condolences to the family, and may his soul rest in peace. Now let's get down
to me, Elijah, my week was really good. Had a very good week. We were here with Imran last night. We tried to watch this so-called UEFA Nations League. Guys, I'm still trying to understand how it works. I'm not so sure. But for me, the football wasn't as entertaining. It's what we were experiencing here as fans with Imran. Imran refused to finish the game. He just stood up and walked away. And he said because he put his money on Italy and Netherlands. So guys, funny story. Yesterday we went to play FIFA with some friends of ours who live on Magadi Way. Anyway, the point is this. When we were leaving, I wanted to place a bet. I wanted to put Edin Dzeko to score. Who's the other guy? Edin Dzeko, Haaland, and Arek Milik. The problem was the lineups were not coming out. And then when it came out, I saw, Arek Milik is on the bench. So it just really distorted me. And Imran was asking me about a guy who plays for Israel called Zahavi. I'm not sure his first name, but Imran kept asking me, this Zahavi, he plays where? I said, me, the only guy I know for Israel is Dabur. Because I've watched some of his games at Salzburg in the Europa League. So Imran was like, what? This is Zahavi. When you look at the odds, guys, Zahavi had I think a 3.4 or something to score. Haaland was 2.8. Dzeko was 4. Imran and I sat here and said if we had just combined all that and put even 100 shillings, we would have had something like 10,000.
Yeah,
So,
that's the reason why I went to sleep.
Imran just went to sleep. Yeah, guys, Elijah, I don't think there's much.
So let's get down to business. So we're starting it off with the SDT ruling that was made during the week, and the ruling was in light of what is happening in FKF. So the SDT judge, that John Ohaga, said that the president of the FKF is not synonymous with the FKF National Executive Committee. What that means in layman's language, okay, is that all the decisions that FKF President Nick Mwendwa has made since the Feb 10th ruling up till now are null and void. The reason why I'm mentioning Feb 10th is because Judge Ohaga ruled that the National Executive Committee's tenure ended on Feb 10th, and so there needs to be elections then we can have a National Executive Committee. The National Executive Committee comprises of the President, the Vice President, and 9 representatives of the regions. Then we have an FKF Premier League representative, the National Super League representative, 1 woman, and 2 other members who are nominated by the President. So now that we don't have the National Executive Committee, now that we don't have it, that means some of the decisions cannot be made in light of FKF, and that includes the winner of the Kenyan Premier League, the teams that are going to be promoted to the Premier League, the deals being conducted by the Federation, and this affects the BetKing deal that was signed a few months ago worth 1.2 billion Kenya shillings, and also the deal between the FKF and BetKing for the National Division 1. Yeah, it's quite disappointing that all that is just going to go down the drain. I think FKF had made progress, but you have to follow the rule of FKF, and the law clearly says President and the National Executive Committee are not synonymous. Guys, what do you think about that? I think when we had taken 3-4 steps forwards, and now we have taken 10 steps backwards with that ruling.
First of all, I think you and Ohaga are somehow related, because you've already made a decision that this whole deals will be scrapped off.
No, but what I'm reading from that ruling, as of now, it means that
No
you
more
need
buses.
the National Executive Committee.
No more buses for all of Imran's.
Yeah, no
more
more
buses, Imran.
But no more buses. It means that the National Executive Committee has to give the go-ahead and not the President. The President cannot make decisions alone. That means that deal between BetKing and FKF is null and void.
Yeah, but
according
those are,
to
those are the
ruling.
repercussions,
Yeah.
not the court ruling.
Yeah, those are the repercussions. So we're going to have some of these things unfold in future. But from what we're reading from the ruling is that the National Executive Committee is the one that needs to be making these decisions, and it's not just the president.
Okay, my take on that is...
So right now, what they're trying to say is that Nick is a ceremonial president only.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
The powers.
the powers per se.
My take on that is, for me, I just want football to get back. It's been a long time, and we're tired of this politics back and forth, fighting court battles. As in, for football to grow, we need to move past these court battles. We need to harmonize our football to have one voice.
At what roots? We need to harmonize.
Yeah, but that's not to mean that some of these things that Nick is doing, he should easily get away with it. He should follow the rule of law and act in accordance with what is stipulated in the law, so that we can have deals and decisions that are made in accordance to what is provided by the law. So I don't want these deals to be scrapped off. These were, as Eli said, 3 steps forward, but now we're taking steps back. So we should just look at ways of solving this in per se in the courts. And the way of solving this is to have an election and have our president elected, because as of now, the NEC is acting in is supposed to make decisions with FKF in some of these things.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd want an election and a president elected, but some of these court battles are derailing these processes. So for me, I just want football to be back and to be back in the right way. And if whoever wins, be it Nick or the other contestants, I'd want them to do a good job in the next term and just get down to business.
Yeah, so we're still going to have the elections as of tentatively as it is right now. We're still going to have the elections in September and also in October. So hopefully, if nothing happens in between then we'll be having a new president in a month's time.
Babu.
Mutiso. Mutiso and Nene. Boniface Osan.
Dynamic.
So you are endorsing them?
They're the ones that came to mind.
Yeah. Okay, so Nick Mwendwa, the president, also had an interview with Nation Sport, and he said he opined that football might be returning in October 20th, and that is the tentative date that he has set. And so teams need to go back to training on September 15th, which is 2 weeks. I think it's a week from now, 10 days from now, if I'm not wrong. So the FKF is going to give the Ministry of Sport guidelines on how they want football to return. And we also remember that FKF were given money by FIFA, that is $1 million by FIFA.
That's for men.
Yeah, that's for football. And then there's also $500,000 for women's football, just because of the COVID-19 and also the effects that it brought. So that $1 million is going to be used to test the players. They're going to be tested twice. The first test is going to happen when they return to training. Then they get tested, and then the other test we're not too sure, but obviously it's going to happen before the league kicks off, and that is on October 20th. So what is going to happen in between? Of course, we have the protocols. We do not know the protocols as of now. The protocols are going to be given, and the protocols and the guidelines are going to be given to the ministry. If they give a go-ahead, then football will return on October 20th, and then we'll be able to give you all the guidelines once the Ministry of Sports gives the go-ahead. So that is the latest information that we do have, and the KPL, NSL and the Women's Premier League will be the first leagues to return, and then the other leagues will return subsequently in a month's time after the top leagues have started. And also he also touched on October so much because we are going to have a FIFA break during the international break. Is going to There's one in October, then there's another one in November. So during the October international break, we're going to have friendlies. The FKF is discussing with other federations. He named the Sudan as one of the teams that could potentially play with the Harambee Stars in the friendly, just to get the team, prepared for the AFCON 2021 qualifiers that are going to take place in November against Comoros, home and away. And so we're going to have 2 friendlies in October. If not, we'll have 1 friendly, so that the team prepares adequately. Okay, maybe not adequately, but the team gets to have a chance to play together in readiness for the AFCON 2021 qualifiers. The qualifiers I'm talking about that game between Comoros and Harambee Stars were supposed to be played in March, but due to the pandemic, they were postponed. So, are you satisfied with the way Nick stated regarding the FIFA COVID-19 relief fund?
First of all, I have to say that the deadline for submitting the guidelines was this past Monday. But the reason why FKF is submitting the guidelines late is because they wrote to FIFA, and FIFA responded late. So that's why. Okay, first of all, I have to state that the reason why FKF submitted the guidelines late because the ministry had given a deadline of Monday, this past Monday, to submit the guidelines, but FKF wrote to FIFA and FIFA responded a bit later on during the week. So that's why FKF is submitting the guidelines a bit late. So I know they'll be considered by the Ministry of Sports. And back to your question, is Nick Mwendwa doing enough during this pandemic to necessitate the resumption of sports? First of all, you have to say that this is a health issue, and not only Kenya has struggled, but I think all the federations around the world have struggled. We've seen football return to Europe, but some of the players testing positive. So you can't say it's 100%, but we're happy that at least something is being done to resume sports, because this is a career. Some of it treated as a profession, and they get money from it. So getting it back to action is the wisest thing that can be done at this point. In terms of safety and our country, I'm not too sure of the safety, because you find that yes, these players will be tested, but the country is grappling with testing people. We find that only 4,000 people are tested in a day, and this is nationally. So what about the players who might actually get to the numbers of 5,000 if you consider all the leagues? And it's not only a question about testing. You find that a team like maybe Nzoia might come to Nairobi and interact with some of these people, and you never know who you interact with. Go back to Nzoia, you never know. And some of these players, you find a player might go to a game and he goes back to his house using a matatu, public transport. So in terms of safety, I'm not too sure, but hopefully we'll all be okay, and the protocols will all be adhered to by the players and also the guys who will be covering these games in terms of the media and all the stakeholders involved in this process. So hopefully we will run smoothly.
I think Imran is right. It's difficult. It's very difficult. Protocols and guidelines are good, and it will be interesting to see what they put into place. With, or rather before COVID, game attendance was not that high, so maybe it will be easier when you look at it like that. In terms of the national team, I don't know. I don't even know the state of our players.
Now we do know the state of some of our players.
Okay, in terms of the national team.
Yeah, the national team.
I'd say we're playing Comoros in 2 months. The first thing I thought is, wase wako wapi? On a train?
Wanyama is playing, week in, week out, Okumu is playing, Olunga.
Playing, they're training. So at least we have guys who are playing active football.
Yeah, and what I'd like to say about the national team is that playing Sudan is not pushover, so it will be a good test. And Comoros.
Sudan every Sunday with Elijah, we know.
That's south, not the main Sudan. But anyway, back to the point is that Comoros are not pushovers. Man, these guys, they beat Togo away. They drew with Egypt, I think it was at home. So these guys are not pushovers. They are unbeaten in our group, and I think they're number 1 currently. So these guys are not pushovers. We need a lot of preparations, being that the team hasn't played since the last game was Togo. I think it was last year in 2019. This year they haven't played together. So yeah, we need a little bit of gelling with some of these friendlies, and hopefully we'll get good results against Comoros, because Comoros is the only team that can decide if we go to AFCON. If we beat them home and away, our mathematics will look good.
Okay, now let's shift gears and go into the KPL transfers. A lot has been happening. Gor Mahia has been the most active club this week. They've
following the Wazito business model. Elijah, just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, and actually, these guys, they didn't give me the memo, but unaona I'm dressed like Wazito legend.
Yes. Hapa kuna pesa.
Gor Mahia till I die, with or without mine.
I'm so happy that Elijah take it away.
But now, okay, we have been critical of Wazito in the past episodes. Right now, I want to hear what Imran is going to say about Gor Mahia, his beloved team. Is he going to be critical? Because Gor Mahia have been signing players left, right, and center. They've so far signed 4 players from Western Stima, a team that we don't know that the future is so bleak. We do not know what is going to happen.
The future kuharibia team ya Kisumu jina. The future is not bleak. Kisumu has a lot of talent. Western Stima will continue. Msisikize propaganda ya
I'm just saying, we do not know what is going to happen to Western Stima because a lot of their players have shifted to other teams. They've gone to Wazito, they lost their coach, and some of them have gone to Gor Mahia. So far, 4 players have gone to Gor Mahia, and Gor Mahia have signed interesting players so far as from where I'm seated. I do not know whether they are going to have a major impact in terms of retaining the Kenyan Premier League title because the quality of the players, we have not seen some of them play top football.
We try to do an analysis here. I leave it at that.
We have seen some of them. Some of them have the pedigree, you know, what it takes to play for a top team like Gor Mahia. So we can only speculate, but I just want to hear Imran's opinion on the players Gor Mahia have signed. They've so far signed 12 players, and this week they've signed a lot of players, to say the least. A lot of players.
Yeah, including internationals.
International. He's talking about under 20 international. It's called Andrew Malisero. He's signed. He's a striker. He can play as an attacking mid. They've signed Kelvin Oesonga. He was the 3rd best defender last, not the 2019 season, but the 19 season, the previous season. And they've signed
Cameroonian
Owino. They've signed a Cameroonian. It's called Comfort, veteran Comfort. Ngafei. He's a CDM. They've signed Samuel Njau, who's a goalkeeper. I think he's going to be the 3rd choice.
Njau, big up, man.
But you never know, he can be the 2nd choice.
Njau. I'm so happy. I played with Njau many years ago. He was young. He's still young, but anyway.
They signed John Ochieng. He was in Tusker, then went to Chemelil, and now he is made his move to Gor Mahia. So, and also the 17-year-old, the teenager Benson Omala scored 9 goals last season. Scored a hat-trick against Zoo FC. And guess what? He was still in high school and still is in high school. He's a Form 4 student. So we don't know how he's gonna juggle school and Gor Mahia.
Serikal fast, Omera.
Serikal. And because I'm saying this because he is still in Kisumu. He studies in Kisumu, and he was playing for Western Stima, which is a team from Kisumu. So that was easy. And now Gor Mahia is based in Nairobi. So how is that going to happen? There was an interview he did, and he opined that the coach has given him his own training schedule. So let's see if the training schedule is going to aid him in staying tip-top form to play for Kogalo, because playing for Kogalo is totally different from Western Stima. The pressure is immense in Kogalo. You need to be performing week in, week out. However, they've signed a striker, Tito Kelo, who's going to help them. Now, Imran, I just want your opinion on this because I have a lot of questions concerning our beloved team.
Yeah, I'll say this. Signing many players in one transfer.
12.
Yeah, 12 currently. We don't know what they'll add.
There could be 13. There's a player by the name Jules Ulimwengu. We talked about him last time. He hasn't put pen to paper. He's supposed to sign a 2-year deal. played in the Chinese Division 2, Shanxi, I think it's Shanxi Atletico, something of the sort. He's yet to put pen to paper, but rumors have it that he has agreed personal terms with the KPL champions, and he's going to sign. But before that, Imran.
Yeah, your opinion may take long kuniuliza. So anyway, I'll say this.
You're talking about Wazito.
I'll say this. Signing many players doesn't guarantee you success. We saw Gor Mahia sign 17 players last season when it was starting. And some of these 17 players, very few made an impact at Gor Mahia.
Yeah.
And Wazito, they've been doing this week in, week out. Not week in, week out, but almost in every transfer window. They did that when they were promoted to the league. They did that when they were promoted in the January transfer window, and now they're doing the same. Problem is, it has worked for Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia has been doing this since 2016. They've been losing Olunga. They've been signing a lot of players.
But the thing is, in those instances, Gor Mahia have been signing maybe if the maximum was 6, not 12, not 17.
Yeah, they've been going through a transition in these past 2 seasons. They've been having different coaches. They had Dylan Kerr, they had Oktay, now they're having Stephen Pollack. So they're still finding their footing. They don't have like a core of the team right now, because you find that they signed Tobias Otieno, who I expected to be the core of the team, but he's left, and now they're also signing a lot of players, and this is all coupled with the money that they're getting from BetSafe.
But I think
so,
they do have a core.
Who is the core of Gor Mahia?
Wellington Ochin, Muguna, Oluoch is still there, Mwendwa is still there, Nicholas Lipirui is still there.
Can you count Mwendwa as the core of Gor Mahia? In all honesty.
Who?
Mwendwa
has been there for how many years?
Yeah, as in longevity doesn't mean you're the core of the team.
It's just that
for me, to be the core of the team, you build the team around these players.
He's had injuries.
They've been building it around those.
Samuel Nyango is
no offense to Wendo, if you're watching this, I have nothing against you, but honestly.
Yeah, but Samuel Nyango is still there. I think they still have the senior players still there, and what they're doing is trying to add a few more first team players and the fringe players.
Well, I'd say for me, honestly, I haven't watched most of these players. Like the Malawian, I haven't watched him. The Cameroonian, I haven't watched him.
Yes.
If you look at the likes of Samuel Mwendwa, I've watched him at Steamer. I think he was in another. I think it was Chemelil before he joined Steamer. I'm not too sure, but he was in another team before he joined Steamer. And these are players who have KPL experience. The problem I had with Wazito is that they signed some of the players who are young, and they expect them. You expect them to play week in, week out, but the way they signed that Wazito, if you're a youngster, you expected to play week in, week out so that you can learn from your mistakes. That's why Premier League teams have under 23 and under 20, so that you can play there week in, week out. But some of these young players that Wazito signed, for me, in all honesty, I don't think they'll play week in, week out, which is required for a youngster. And you see, for Gor Mahia, they're signing players with experience. That's the difference between the two teams.
Yeah, you have to replace the Berlin Wall.
It's not easy.
Yeah, and Rujuma, I think, will do a good job in replacing the Berlin Wall. And I think his partnership with Momanyi will be, watch out for that. I think they'll be the best.
Do you think Momanyi will play or watch? Because they've also signed Kennedy Owino, who is a centre back.
I think Momanyi will be preferred ahead of those two, and Momanyi, I think, will partner with Andrew Juma. That is if everything goes to plan. That's on paper.
Now, I have a big question. Gor Mahia have signed Tito Okello as a striker. They have Nicholas Kipirui. They have Clinton Okoth.
And now Benson Makamala.
And Dennis Oalo, who was the KPL, who was the NSL top scorer in the previous season. And then they still have Lavanza. So who is going to play up front? Because Clinton Okoth is still there. We have now Benson Omala. So we have Benson Omala, Clinton Okoth, Dennis Owalo, Tito. Have I mentioned Tito Okello? Tito Okello. And then we have Nicholas Kipirui. Lavatsa is still there.
There's Kennedy Onyango.
Kennedy.
No, is it Kennedy Otieno?
Yeah, Kennedy Otieno. Those are 7 attacking players who play as a striker.
Maybe they play the Thiago Motta formation. You never know.
But for me, I think Gor Mahia will release most players. I think there's a release coming, because honestly, I don't see Lavatsa fitting with that team. I don't see, because most of these players are forwards, not really a striker, but they can play in that position.
Yeah.
So for me, I expect Okello and Kipkirui either to partner and Benson Omala to come in. But for me, if I was Pollack, I'd start Benson Omala because this kid has something special. He scored 9 goals in his debut season in the KPL. He went to Spain with Chapadimba.
Actually, he was discovered through Chapadimba.
Yeah, and he actually scored a goal in Spain when they went for Chapadimba. So this is a sensational teenager. He's still only 17, and he has a knack for goals. He scored a hat-trick against Zoo. And the best thing about this is after he signed the Gor Mahia deal, he went back to Manyata and gave back to the kids. And for me, I'd say Gor Mahia is one of the best clubs in Kenya, and they've made Western Stima their academy. But there's also a bigger fish in Tanzania who's fishing talent from Gor Mahia, which is Simba. We've now seen Kagere, Kachi, and the Berlin Wall.
Yes. I don't have doubts with Gor Mahia. The winning the league. Okay, I might have slightly. The only issue that I have is the quality. No. I'm still Kogalo.
Was it a sympathizer and influencer?
Listen here. I do have doubts with the quality they've signed. This is Kogalo. This is not a mid-table team. These are 19-time Kenyan Premier League champions. The most cups they play in the CAF Confederation Cup. They compete with the best teams in Africa. So, and also they have the biggest fan base. So the pressure that comes with putting on that green and white jersey is immense. I don't know if some of them will crack under pressure.
That's valid. You have a point. I think one thing you guys failed to mention when you're talking about the signing of 12, 10 players, there was a method to this madness. I think God used to get really good players. There's a time Kagere was playing, then he left, then came back. That was a good sign. I think Imran also has a point. You can't get inexperienced to play competitively, and especially Elijah, when you bring out the fact that Gor Mahia are playing in the CAF Confederations Cup, you want them to get into the CAF Champions League. You need tools.
Absolutely, we need tools, Kapsa. And we want Gor Mahia to get to the quarterfinals to the group stage of Champions League, and also to the group stage and maybe quarterfinals of the CAF Confederations, because it increases our points.
Yeah, and actually, on this podcast, this is the last episode of this season, but we made a bet with Eli. I told him Gor Mahia will win the league, and he owes me 1,000. I know it still hasn't happened, but he owes me 1,000. Before the league starts, we made a bet last week. Gor Mahia will win the league.
How did you bet last week? And
yeah, so how do I have you 1,000?
Yeah, I just said it hasn't happened, but KPL ikianza inakuwa imeandikwa kombe na kombe imeandikwa Gor Mahia.
By default, because it never.
By default, wait and see. I hope this thing will be.
I'm not confident with the type of signings that we have made. As a Kogalo fan, I'm not confident, and I have to say it out loud. I'm frustrated. But that does not mean that the players do not have quality. They do have quality.
But I really hope they play those games at Nyayo so we can watch them. Yeah.
We will definitely be watching. So that is something that we're going to be looking into, and we'll be keenly following, and we'll be updating you on how Kogalo performs and if those any of those 12 signings are worth the money they spent on.
Yeah, just a question. You said you have doubts about Gor Mahia winning the league. Who do you think will be the rightful challengers for Gor Mahia?
That's where the issue comes in. But I think Sofapaka have made good signings. In fact, let's talk about Sofapaka's signing. They have managed to rope in Roy Okhal. We did mention it a few episodes ago, but now they have unveiled Roy Okhal and Saha. Kevin Omondi? Yes, Kevin Omondi. The goalkeeper, the immediate former Wazito goalkeeper, they brought him into their ranks together with Michael Bodo. We talked about him last time. So I think those are good signings for.
Do you really think they'll give Gor Mahia a run for their money?
Well, they've managed.
Also, Sofapaka have been doing that. They've been making signings, and you think, this is probably their season. But when it comes to the league, you find them languishing in 5th or 6th position.
If you ask me, I thought they did have a good squad before that.
I put my money on KCB.
There's also KCB who have a good squad
And a good coach too.
and a good coach.
He knows God, he knows how to think. he knows how to think.
If Kakamega Homeboys can also manage to fill in the void left by Peter Thiongo and bring in a credible player, then they might have a chance in the title race, because we do not know how Gor's signings are going to gel as of now. But we know how these other teams are, and they have not had a mass exodus. Some of the teams have just released 5-6 players, which is normal in every transfer window. So hopefully we're going to have a competitive KPL this season. So another team that is making inroads when it comes to transfers is Nairobi City Stars, Simba Wa Nairobi, and they have signed several players this week, one of them being Ronnie Kola Oyaro, who comes from Kenya School of Government. His team managed to reach the semi-finals of the Chapadimba Nairobi Regional Final. And then we have Eric Ombija, who was the top scorer in the NSL. He was with Kostima on loan from Gor Mahia, so he comes in as the latest signing. And Elvis Ocheng, who is a direct replacement for Levis Opio, who has gone to Gor Mahia as a goalkeeper. So Elvis Ocheng is a goalkeeper, so he just comes to directly replace Levis Opio as Nairobi City Stars goalkeeper. Eric Ombija, guys, played in the NSL. Definitely Nairobi City Stars played against team, knows what they're bringing on board. What kind of signing do you think this will be? Will he have the kind of impact that Nairobi City Stars will be looking for?
I think Eric Ombija started at Gor Mahia Youth, and he was promoted to the senior team last season. He was part of the 17 signings that we were mentioning. And he went on loan to Kostima and proved himself. He was the top scorer. And with Kostima being unsure about their position in the league next season, because there were rumors that they're unfolding, it's a good move for him. And I think it's a good move for both parties, because Stima will need the goals. They're coming back to the league after being relegated, I think, back in 2016, or was it 2017? 2016, I think. So they need firepower up front, and hopefully Eric Ombija will deliver.
I mean, Nairobi City Stars has been a good team for strikers. We've seen Makwata, we've seen Rio Mondi play there, and then go to other teams and just become household names in the KPL.
Yeah, I mean, not just strikers, but there's a guy who was with Atlika, came from City Stars. His name was Iregi. I forget his first name, but he was a good midfielder, good attacking midfielder. I think City Stars is a good place for you to develop. Hopefully, he'll be able to play and show the best that he has to offer.
Yeah, and also on that list, I think there's Jimmy Bagea.
Jimmy Bagea, wow, seasonal player in the KPL. Well, there's another transfer that has happened this week that is a huge dent to Tusker, who next season might be title contenders. I think Tusker, by the way, we didn't talk about Tusker. They are potential title contenders, and unfortunately, they have lost Timothy Otieno. He was the top goal scorer in the just concluded 2019-20 season, and he's gone to Napsa Stars, signed a 2-year deal there, and we wish him all the best as friends of football. He was with Gor Mahia, then left Gor Mahia to go to play in go and sign for Tusker, and he was a good signing for Tusker.
I think there's if you want a direct ticket to Zambia, be the top scorer, because there was Makwata who was the top scorer, went to Zambia with Buildcon. Jesse Were started that move. He was the top scorer, went to Zesco. There's also Elvis Rupia, who only missed the top scorer by I think a single goal, and I think he played half a season.
He was the top scorer when he left.
Yeah, but at the end of the season he missed it, I think, by a couple of goals. And so Zambia need goal scorers as the previously shown, and I think it's a good move for Timo. Going abroad and trying out your luck there, it's always a good thing for a player. Hopefully he'll be able to deliver the title for Napsa Stars, because they missed out on the title by, I think, was it a point or goal difference? It was a very slight margin. So hopefully with his goals up front, they'll be able to land the league that they've been so waiting for. And Zesco also challenging. There are rumors that Tuisenge is going to Zesco. So let's wait and see. But good move for Timo, and he's a proven goal scorer.
My first game in the KPL when I was 11. You know, we have to keep these things consistent. I played against Posta Rangers at Ruaraka. Timo scored the only goal. I think he was assisted by Calvin Odongo. He's a good player. He was, in my opinion, he was really good. Well, it's another story. But yeah, I wish him all the best. Hopefully, atamekata Harambee Stars.
Hopefully, yeah. So just before we conclude with the local transfers, we want to mention that several Starlets players have made their moves to the Tanzanian Women Premier League, and they have signed for one player by the name Batha Omita has signed for Simba Queens. Those are the champions of the Tanzanian Women Premier League, and three players, and the captain of the Harambee Starlets, Dorka Shikobe, has signed with Younger Princess Janet Bundi, and Winkate Kaari have signed for Younger Princess. Sorry, that is it is a testament that Kenyan women's football is actually growing. We have seen several players. I think we have more than 10 players playing their trade outside of Kenya.
Yeah, I think after that 2016 AUCON, most of them managed to secure deals. And also they've had good runs in the Sekafa. I think they won the Sekafa tournament in Tanzania, which I think most of the guys who were signed were scouted in that tournament. And there are also rumors that, not rumors, but other ladies have been linked with other teams. Like there's Mona Lima who's been linked to Dalhem, I think in Sweden. So hopefully that deal materializes. It's been dragging for a long time due to the pandemic, but hopefully she'll get moves. And it's a good thing for Kenyan football because it boosts our chance of winning the AFCON. We haven't won the AFCON, both men and women. And also maybe with them moving abroad, they'll get the right experience and will be able to qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup. Yeah, so I think it's good moves for them, and it also shows that Tanzania is beating us on all fronts in terms of football because they're signing both our ladies and men. So hopefully we'll get to structure our league to be more competitive and have the right amount of salaries so that we can retain our players.
But I think it's good news that we are managing to export some of our talents to other countries. I mean, it's evidence that we are doing something right when it comes to the women's football development.
Yeah, of course. If you listen to any Mwendwa press conference or any Mwendwa interview, he'll tell you that he's improved women's football greatly. And I can't dispute that. That's true. He managed to qualify AFCON for the first time, the women's AFCON. So, and also the league was back after a long time, after being defunct for a long time. So hopefully we'll be able to get even like more teams in the Kenya Women Premier League, and it will be more competitive because last season we saw a lot of walkovers in teams lacking fans. Most of the matches were not played. The grounds are poor, so hopefully these things will improve and we'll be able to see more competitiveness in the women's football because that's one area that is really lacking in terms of how they're being covered by the media.
Yes.
And the fan attendance, and also like how they're generating the revenue. Because I think it was KPL Starlets, they've started making soap in order to survive during this pandemic. So it shows that the women's football is lacking some funds. So, but the deal with the Bet King, at least some funds is being set aside for the Kenya Women Premier League, which is a good thing. So yeah, it shows that our women's football is growing.
And talking of women's football, the Brazilian national team, women's national team, will be paid the same allowances as their men counterparts. What do you think about
that?
Yeah?
I think it's good. I think it's good for women's football. I don't know too much about women's football, honestly. I tried to watch the World Cup. I think it's good.
But at least right now, for example,
he was about to touch a time bomb.
But I think it's actually good that they're being rewarded for their effort.
Yeah,
for example,
football like Piggy.
USA maybe USA. The men's football team is being paid more than the women's football team, and yet the women's football team have won 2 World Cups. You know, at least now England are paying the men and the women the same to Brazil and Australia, and I think also Norway, a few countries. Do you think that the same should be done here in our country?
I think it's the same case with the USA. The women performing better than the men, because we've seen the women win a couple of tournaments. They were in Spain and they managed to perform well.
Yeah.
They won the Sekafa. They participated in the Alcon. Yeah, so I think
And
it
they
should be equal.
almost qualified for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So almost.
Yeah, I think they were beaten by Zimbabwe.
It was Zambia.
Zambia,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing, it's a good initiative because in all honesty, they're playing the same sport, they're giving the same output, so why not get the same allowances? One may argue that they're not drawing large crowds into the stadium as men, but it's not their fault. It's about their output that they're putting in, the effort, so which I think should be rewarded equally.
So guys, we've come to the end of the podcast. We've come to the end of episode 10, and we've also come to the end of season 1. It's been great, it's been real. We've felt the love, the likes, the subscription. We've felt it all, you know. Your ideas, you know, you've come up with good ideas, you know, and we've taken them on board. And here we are, we're in episode 10, you know, just making progress day by day. And I personally am grateful. I didn't know that we could actually reach this far, and with this consistency and with this energy, and we're growing step by step, you know. And I think season 2 is gonna be really great and bigger. You know, we have honed our skills here kidogo, and now we understand each other. The chemistry is there, so make sure to catch season 2. It's gonna be lit.
Moto, flames.
So what do you guys have to say before, you know, season 2 is gonna be out in 2 weeks time. So now after this, the EPL is back, we're gonna have season 2, and hopefully we're gonna have new things, you know,
The new
flow.
Jazzy.
Yeah, new series Jazzy, man. I'm hoping to get the Arsenal Jazzy. Away Jazzy, that kid is amazing.
Hopefully, like I said, will have sold by then.
Yeah, to the Atletico.
McGoldrick.
No, people.
French McGoldrick. But my review of the season.
You know, someone said that guy is a French Darren Bent. And then I remember from my years watching Darren Bent, Darren Bent bigger, man.
Okay, there you go.
My review of the season, it's been an amazing season. I've really enjoyed it. I've moved out of my comfort zone. I've enjoyed return of football and the lockdown. It's been really amazing. There have been downs and ups. And season 2, I promise you guys, I really promise you guys that it's going to be bigger and better. We're looking to implement some of the suggestions that you floated in. And we've already made a couple of adjustments, so watch out for these adjustments. And don't usichoke, endelea kupatia your reviews, your comments, comment in the comment section, subscribe, hit the bell, and promise it's going to be fire season 2. And hopefully the season is also going to be entertaining for the likes of the underdogs.
Guys, thank you so much for supporting us, for growing with us. You're our motivation for doing this. We'll try and get more creative with our content. Obviously, we are limited due to the lockdown and all this, but hopefully as sports continues to open up slowly, we'll try and make things more interesting, mix things up for you, even change maybe the show and some of the content. But thank you so much for your support. Please continue to share, like, subscribe, and thank you guys.
And also, we want to big up our cameraman Malcolm bana. Come
Malcolm
on,
bana.
bana. Utewase kiasi.
Join.
Come, Malcolm. Hey, don't be
Leo
shy.
kwa in front of camera.
Malcolm aliambia wife ako church. Atakuonekana.
SDA.
Yo, so this is our camera guy. He's called Malcolm.
Yeah, he's called Malcolm.
Utewase, man.
Poa sana.
Hawaja kusalimia, mbona unasema poa sana?
Bila kamera lakini it has been awesome.
Malcolm is an emerging left back in the Kenyan game. He's only 15.
Yo, utility. The guy is a midfielder.
Yeah, 15
I think
years
he
of
plays
age.
as a left back just because he had an injury. Yeah. Hapana. Huna ako juu. Mimi mtambua mbaya. So guys, I want to say thank you and watch out for season 2. Cheers guys.
Adios.